Hello everyone. Thought some of you might be interested in this computer game of ancient galleys set during the time of the Battle of Salamis. Now, first thing to say about this game, it's available on Steam. It's called Trireme Commander, but it is extremely flawed. So beware if you do pay for this, you will have problems playing it. Now, there is a fix. If you go into the discussion group on Steam, you will see that a suggested fix was made back in August of last year, 2023, August 2023. Which is not ideal, but essentially the problem with the game is that you have to progress through a number of scenarios in order to finally get to the Battle of Salamis. And the second scenario is a kind of time trial where you have to negotiate your way around the training area and back into port, all within 15 minutes. And no matter how hard you try, you will always fail. Um, no apparent reason why. You can easily do it within 15 minutes, but you constantly get this mission failed, so you can't progress beyond the second scenario. The fix is to create a file, a text file, in the data files of the installation, and the wording of that is given. And I tried that, and it didn't seem to work. So I deleted the file, and then for some reason hadn't quite despaired and given up. So I tried it again, and lo and behold, I got round the course under 15 minutes and passed, and I was allowed to progress on to the later scenarios, which are really good fun. So I'm not quite sure how I got it to work, because as I say, I deleted that file, but I'm just basically not, as it's fixed, I'm not messing with it any longer. And as you can see, I'm playing later scenarios. So this particular one is two fleets of 8 galleys each. I'm in charge of this galley here, the Aphrodisia, the flagship of the Greeks, and I've just ordered my galleys into a sort of double line ahead formation, or line abreast rather, I should say. Um, the interesting thing in this particular scenario is that the Persians seem to just career straight towards the Greeks in line astern, which is not a good idea. There they are. You can see the flagship of the Persian fleet there, the Tepeguran. Yeah, you want to be in line astern for sailing, negotiating your way around islands and so on. But you don't want, you can see my Greek fleet there, nicely prepared to receive the Persian attack. And all we're going to do is immediately bump off the flagship, and then the Persian fleet is in real trouble. In terms of the history of this game, you might, the older generation, which I belong to, will recognise the sort of graphics and the style of this game. It's from the stable of Peter Turcan, who back in the 1990s had a lot of really fun games that you could play on the Atari and the Amiga. Games such as the Battle of Waterloo, the Battle of Austerlitz, dreadnoughts, which I had and have played recently and shown you some gameplay on this channel, because I managed to get an old Amiga working for a while. Sadly, not for long. Armada was another one. This is a refinement on all those games. There's a lot more sophistication in it. There you can see I've just rammed the Persian flagship head on. You could hear missiles being thrown, but my two accompanying Allied Greek ships have rammed the Persian flagship from both sides there, and you can see it's in trouble already. I'm reversing now, backing up, and I'm just going to try and get enough distance to build up ramming speed again and have another go at ramming the Persian flagship. Yeah, so it's from the Peter Turcan stable. I've been aware of this game for quite some time. While he was developing it, he had a website, and you could buy it from him, but I never did that because the computers that I've had previously haven't really been up to the task of playing games with. But now I've got a decent laptop, and I became aware that this game was available on Steam. I thought I would invest in it and have a go at it. And having overcome that initial obstacle of the flaw in the game, I'm having a really good time with it. This is the latest scenario. Basically, you build up in terms of, you have scenarios where you learn how to signal, how to order your accompanying ships around, how to maneuver and so on, and then you're given various battle scenarios. So this is the first scenario where you're on equal terms with the opponent. So we're seeing how I can get on with that now. And as I say, there's a lot more sophistication in this than there was to the earlier games, in that you have a lot more views of the ships. So there we are, looking at one of the other Greek ships, and another Greek ship, and another, and so on. You can scroll through all the ships. You can look at them from different angles. So you can monitor what's going on on the rest of the battle, but you do have to be very conscious of what's going on around you. Basically, this game is a bit like dodgem cars on water. It's tricky. It's not hard to win. It becomes quite hard to maneuver and so on, but you have various ways of commanding the rowers. You can split the banks of rowers, not the banks, but the aisles of rowers, so that you can, I think I'm doing that here, yeah, so I'm lifting the oars on the port side and steering to the right, and that allows me to steer more sharply. And the reason I'm doing that is that I recognise that the Persian flagship is seriously incapacitated now and sinking, so I'm pulling away from that conflict and trying to sort of loop around and get into the conflict further back along the Persian line. As you can see, though, I've got to try and maneuver around that Allied ship on my right there, without colliding with it. So that's another difficulty you have to face in the game, is avoiding getting entangled with friendly ships. And as you're about to see, don't quite manage that, and unfortunately what happens is that I get snared there, and then there's an enemy Persian ship comes in and gives me a nasty ram in the side there, which causes me some injuries to my crew. I've now got 18 injured crew, and for the rest of the game now that is going to have a detrimental effect on my ability to steer, because I've got more rowers pulling on one side than the other, so I'm constantly having to compensate for the stronger. There are 85 rowers on the left and only 67 on the right, so that causes me a problem for the rest of the game. So I'm trying to get myself, now I have 27 injured crew, trying to get myself out of this situation, back up a little bit, and again get a little bit of leeway so that I can build up a bit of speed and try and ram that ship that's just done me some damage. So I'm a big fan of Peter Turcan games, as you may know if you've watched earlier videos. It's a great shame that there is such a massive flaw that doesn't seem to be any urgency in attempting to repair it. But you know, this is demonstration that there is a way around it, and I just like the pace of this game. It's slow enough that you have time to think and view what's going on around you and so on, but at the same time, it does present you with problems that, you know, sometimes are difficult to solve. So it does have that feeling of, you know, realism about it, and also it's really well researched. Peter Turcan has a voiceover on some of these scenarios, and you can tell. Here we are, I'm just building up ramming speed again. It looks like I'm going to get a nice side-on blow to that chap that just injured me earlier. Yeah, you can tell from Peter Turcan's commentary that he's done a lot of research into the history of trireme warfare. He's well versed in, you know, his use of the correct terminology and so on, and the correct battle tactics, and he's incorporated all that into the game. Right, so I'm definitely going to get a nice blow here. Yep, there we go. And the ship's going down. So hold her, and that one's sinking straight away. So you may have noticed there's the Persian flagship underwater now. You may have noticed earlier that it said the object of the scenario was to achieve a minor victory and then head for home. So at this point I'm beginning to think, yeah, I've got that minor victory, because there must be 2 Persian ships underwater by now. But just to make sure, I hang around and get involved in another conflict with another galley in a moment. Haven't quite finished yet, but just basically recouping my strength. That's another issue, that you do have to watch for the fatigue of your rowers. Down the bottom mid part of the screen there, you can see a lot of icons. One of them is a rowing icon. When that turns black, your crew are beginning to tire, and as it diminishes in size, they're definitely getting more and more fatigued, and eventually it reduces your maximum speed down to cruise speed, which obviously leaves you very vulnerable to fresher enemy crews. Lots of other sophistication in it. For instance, you can see that mast on the right there of the sunken, just projecting above the water, of the sunken Persian galley. It is possible to snag on those. It is possible to run aground if you get too close to land. You know, the water varies in depth, and you have to be aware of underwater obstacles and so on. It's really, really well thought out program. Um, Lots of the ships are heading off. You can see specks where ships are heading off in the northeast, and that's actually the Persian fleet have accepted defeat and are withdrawing. Um, but there are still some that are putting up a bit of a fight. So I'm just gonna see them. When ships get within range of one another as well, they throw javelins and shoot arrows at one another. So I'm looking at that group there on the left. I'm thinking, yeah, there's got to be a hostile ship in there somewhere. So I'll just take the opportunity to pick one of those off. So there's my fellow ship, the Thetis, there, that's trying to keep formation with me still. I'm trying to identify an enemy Trireme. That one there, just in front of the Thetis, looks like a suitable target, and the Thetis as well has recognised it as a potential target and is lining up to ram. But that's got a bit crowded now, so I'm going to pick that target directly in front of me there, and I'm building up speed, trying to get lined up, although I am sort of pulling to the left. And the trouble is, when you use the rudders, that adds a little bit of drag, so it diminishes your speed. So I'm trying to do it with the rudders straight, but at the same time you can see I'm curving off to the left. But I should be able to get a nice angle on that ship in front. It's looking very like a nice juicy target. Up to ramming speed. And if I can straighten those oars out, not oars, straighten the rudders out, there we go. That should give me perfect ramming speed and make a nice hole in that ship there. There we go. Certainly rocked it. So similar tactic, just looking behind me to make sure there's nothing in the way, and I'm reversing now, backing up with the oars, create a bit of distance again, and then have another ram once I've got enough distance to build up sufficient speed. That's the view behind. I'm just checking out, so there's still a bit of a struggle going on there, but I'm going to concentrate on this, my own little battle here now. Right, ramming speed again. Another thing you'll notice, there's a bit of inertia, so that my backward speed is kind of still affecting the movement of my ship there, so it takes me a little while to get a forward speed going. The flags all have significance as well, in terms of being able to signal, and also pointing out the type of ship and the position of it, and there's another Persian galley going to the bottom of the ocean. So at this point I decide that is definitely a victory. Just scrolling through the other ships to see what's going on with them. There's one Greek ship there that's in a bit of trouble, and that's on to the Persians now. They're either running away or underwater or sinking. So the next part of the scenario is to get back to port. Now, might appear a little bit tedious in a way, but there's always the chance that I have been more badly damaged than I am, and I'll be taking on water, and I might not have the capability of getting back to port. You can make repairs, so you have to, it's all about housekeeping really now at this point. Successfully getting back into port, and you'll be glad to hear you don't have to get all the way there. You just have to get within a certain distance. So this stage doesn't go on forever, but the scenario isn't successfully accomplished until you have got back safely to within a reasonable distance of your own port. So I have to signal now to the rest of my fleet that it's time to withdraw. So that ship in front there, you can see, is still trying to maintain formation with me, but as soon as I click withdraw there, it picks up its speed and it's setting off northeast back to that mainland there, or headland, in order to dock. So it's kind of every ship for itself now. They're not going to try and keep formation with the flagship. And I'm cruising slowly at the moment, just picking up a little bit of speed, but I slowed down to avoid colliding with that ship in front. And you can see there's a reduced number of oars on the right hand side there, which is the one that took most of the injuries, and that's why, even though I've got the rudder straight, I'm just turning to the left now. The ship is pulling to the right because there are more rowers on the left. Just giving you a different impression of the views and so on. Scrolling through the ships again. That one, last one, was a little bit badly damaged, but and that one there. Nice view of my own ship, the Aphrodisia, and the Pandia alongside, and then scrolling through the Persian ships now. So a lot of them underwater. Here we are back with my flagship, the Aphrodisia. Yeah, it's very frustrating at first with that flawed scenario, but I'm really getting into this now. Hoping that eventually I'll be able to play the Battle of Salamis, and I'll probably put that up on YouTube as a kind of back rep. I made winning this game look quite easy, but I have played this scenario before and lost. So as I say, you have to think and plan and use the appropriate tactics. be aware of what's going on around you and what's happening with other ships, and where the best place to intervene is. Picking off the enemy flagship is definitely a good ploy. It seems to definitely influence the morale of the rest of the fleet. They're just sort of zigzagging backwards and forwards at the moment to try and keep correct course northeast. Haven't shown you in this, but there is a map as well. Don't think I ever called it up in this particular game, but you have to navigate your way around the correct geography. It's all sort of accurately reproduced, the sort of area around Salamis, and the islands are all accurately represented. Oh, there we go. There's the map. I was wrong. So you can see the red cross is where the fleet is, and the other red cross you might have noticed is the dock that I'm heading for. So at this point, the game has just turned into sort of a gentle cruise around the Aegean. So there's no action, but you're still having to kind of think about damage to your own vessel, steering the correct course, and so on. So there are still things to consider. You can accelerate the time so that the game plays out more rapidly, but I like to just take my time with these games. I'm as interested in the simulation as I am with the action of the game, if you like to call it that. So this appeals to me almost as much as the special effects and the sounds and the noises and so on, of actual naval battles. This is one really, though, for the sort of, the old school traditional kind of computer game enthusiast. It's not going to appeal to the World of Warships fan, and that's, fair enough. This is my cup of tea, and it's not going to appeal to everyone, but as I say, thought it might be of interest to some of you, so I thought I'd show you the gameplay and also discuss that flaw as well, which is a problem that has to be addressed, and there's no getting around it. Some of these slower ships might have exhausted crews. That one there is probably repairing, and there's the Persian ships. And so just get back to my own flagship. You can see that rower has become very diminished, so I'm about to become exhausted anyway. So I've now had to take my speed down to cruise speed, fast cruise, just to give the rowers a chance to recover, which, as I say, is probably what was happening on those other ships as well. So you can see the AI is making those kind of decisions, comparable decisions on other ships. Peter Turcan has put a lot of thought into it and so on. Right, so it's now telling me that it's safe to evaluate my performance. So it deems that I'm close enough to port to call an end to the game. So if I click on that evaluate button up the right there, and it tells me that I've passed the scenario test, and then I can guess a little summary of the fleet status. So all my ships are still afloat. Some of them are repairing, some of them are damaged, including my own. I've got a number of crews injured there, but they're all still above water, which is the important thing. Whereas you'll see in a moment, in the case of the Persians, the flagship is sinking, as is the second in line, and then there's a couple that are capsized with all the crew lost, and the others are, one is damaged and withdrawing, and there are three that are just simply withdrawing, retreating. So that is the end of the game, effectively. Hope you found that interesting. As I say, if you do buy the game, be aware of that flaw. Thanks for watching.